Hello and welcome to Beefcake number 22. I'm your host, Wilson Horrell. Before I introduce my co-host, we have some words, some sentiments, if you will, from a friend of Mr. Rawls. And he wanted to come on the show and express himself and express his affection for Mr. Rawls before he made his entrance onto the stage. If you will, here is Mr. Mickey Goldmill.
I tell you something. Well, if you wasn't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that you're here and doing as well as you're doing gives me, what do you call it, a motivation, to stay alive. Because I think that people die sometimes when they don't want to live no more. And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you." Okay?
Those were some touching and powerful words. Words of wisdom. Mr. Rawls is a lucky man to have somebody like Mickey in his life. Speaking of Mr. Rawls, here he comes right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Von Rawls.
It's me.
It's you,
In the flesh.
Mickey Goldmill from Rocky.
Wow.
You two are great friends. Y'all have a long history together.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you meet Mickey?
Well, it's really a long story. I gave him some advice one time, and it just turned into a relationship.
Fitness advice?
It was kind of a little bit of fitness advice, man, and a little bit of just like personal growth.
Yeah, okay. I can understand that. Well, I'm not going to encroach into your personal space. I know how both you and Mickey can get when you start prying.
Yeah, we'll talk about it one day.
Okay. Well, how about Rob Zombie? That was pretty nice of me to have some White Zombie for your intro music.
Yes, Rob Zombie is also a good friend of mine, and
I knew that he was. Can you divulge into how your relationship blossomed?
I taught him how to play a song one time. I just happened to run into him in a hotel lobby, and he had his guitar with him, and he was like, "I just don't know what to do with this riff that I've got," and so one thing led to another, and we ended up sitting down, and I was like, I just basically helped him write a couple of tunes.
You shared with him your song, Thunder Rift 58.
Right.
And then he turned around and stole it and came up with Thunder Kiss 69, didn't he?
I'm a pretty open person, so I don't consider it stealing. I had an idea. I had an idea, and it was a good idea, and I'm just happy to see someone take it and be successful with my ideas.
You believe in that, being from the IT world. What is that called? Open sharing?
Open source, right.
Open source. So you're an open source musician.
Yeah, very much so. I'm proud of you for making that reference.
I'm learning a lot. How'd your Halloween go?
Oh, if you're not following me on Instagram at Von Rawls, go look at my Halloween candy picture from last night. It was so enormous that I did a video and a picture.
Oh, no, I didn't see the video.
There's so much candy in my house right now. It's unbelievable.
So even as a fitness guru and the well-respected fitnessian that you are, you still allow yourself plenty of candy.
Well, I use the kids as a reason, because I've got 3 kids, so you can't tell your kids they're not going trick or treating, and
that's right.
I mean, that's just wrong. We happen to live in a neighborhood that has like maybe 400 houses in our subdivision, but they're all like super close together, so our kids can hit like every single house in the neighborhood really fast. So it's common for them to bring home like an entire pillowcase full of candy.
Was it a madhouse in your neighborhood last night?
It wasn't so bad. I guess because it was a Monday night, but yeah, it starts like right at 5:45 when the sun goes down, and it's just like a constant flow until about 7:30 or 8, and then everybody's gone.
It took me 20 minutes to get in and out of a particular neighborhood, Belmore Lake subdivision. It was like a widespread panic concert was going on out there. I'd never seen anything like it. I had no idea that people flocked to neighborhoods, I guess being
It's crazy.
somewhat rural, that, people need a place to go.
Well, we always made a big deal out of Halloween. My first daughter was from a previous marriage, so we had like the custody thing where holidays flipped back and forth. My daughter was never home like consistently every year for, say, Christmas, but Halloween was not like a official holiday, so it was like the only event where we knew every single year she was going to be home, and so we always kind of made a big deal about it. So it was so it just turned into like a fun thing.
Well, I like that. I like to see that you have a lot of fun with your family. Y'all are always down for the Disney and doing holidays big and having a lot of fun, and that is a great thing.
Yep.
Speaking of fun, we did the Tough Mudder this weekend.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Tell us.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell us all about it?
I'm going to tell you all about it. That's what I want to talk about.
Oh, perfect.
I think I told you, I think I had kind of a crap attitude about it last week. I was not complaining, but I was talking about how that's not really my thing. And, my lack of agility doesn't allow me to enjoy things like that.
Well, you do that. You do that about everything, though, right? Like all of your fitness activities. You're like, well, I'm the slowest person, and this and that. Like you set yourself up to, like, if you go and win the race, it's gonna be like, man, that guy. It's like even better. So like. You get what I'm saying? Like you play it.
Totally. It's a safety net.
Yeah. You play it down so that.
Right. So that way, if I let you down or if I fail, I can say, well, I knew that.
I told you.
Don't you remember me talking about it? I have. You got to go listen to podcast number 22 where I talk about what a failure I am.
Right. Exactly.
And that's a terrible habit. You're right. That's a bad habit. You've addressed that with me before, and I said I was going to do something about it, and I don't. But we're working on it.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm excited about this because really this is the start of what I hope is the first conversation of many race reports and talking about races that we go do, because it is October and it is that time to start getting out there and crushing it.
We are about to get down. I got a text message from Amanda just today that said, we need to sit down and have a talk. And I thought, whoa. The next sentence was, we need to get all our races lined out. I don't want to miss a thing.
Right.
Exclamation point. And I thought, let's do it.
Boom.
So the Tough Mudder, we had about 6 of us, myself, Amanda, and 6 other teammates, most of them being from Olive Branch CrossFit, and a couple of them from another one from North Mississippi Endurance, the North Mississippi Endurance team. And man, we just had a blast. We got down there. We ate dinner Friday night, went to a pizza joint, enjoyed that. There happened to be a CrossFit gym right next door.
Mm-hmm.
So we got on their monkey bars.
Nice.
And full of pizza and full of crap. And, we're able to see that we were capable of swinging from vine to vine, if you will.
Yeah.
Built up a little bit of confidence. So the next morning we're getting ready to leave, and we come across this lady who was just, good morning, how are you? I'm fine, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, I'm in a conversation with her, and she offers us some apples, Honeycrisp apples from her home city in somewhere in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And it started off as just such a nice thing. It was just such a nice conversation, a nice lady, a lady who was really proud of her apples, really proud of where she came from, and just, encouraging. It just started off in a positive fashion.
Uh-huh.
And it just kind of reiterated how important it is to speak to one another and say hello, and how nice it feels to be given a gift of whatever value. It was just nice of her to give us the apple. And then Stephanie said that apple could be laced with LSD for all we know. And I took a bite and I said that nothing could be better than that. But it wasn't.
Oh, that's too bad.
So we got to the Tough Mudder. It was run really well. The event was planned out really great. They had us in our chutes for our start time of 9 a.m. and they had a hype man, a guy who was basically like an athletic DJ, who was in charge of getting us warmed up and getting us jazzed up. And I'm telling you, dude, this guy was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He was like the best hype man since Flavor Flav, only he could do squats and stuff.
He like put you through a little PT beforehand?
Yeah. And I went into it thinking this is going to be cheesy. We're going to do some jumping jacks and blah, blah, blah. But they cranked up the music and we had to, touch one another and greet one another and speak to someone that we weren't familiar with, do our stretching. And it was just really, really a neat experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to say like some words of affirmation. They made it really clear that it wasn't a race, that it was an event, and this was about finding yourself, and this was about helping others.
Wow.
And that, your time in finishing this race was of no consequence.
What were like some of the words of affirmation? That sounds interesting.
Basically like, I'm here for you. I will help you. I will not leave you behind. I give my oath to help at least 3 people after completing an obstacle. I give my oath to watch out for you and get help if you're hurt, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's neat.
It was neat. And I think it really put a lot of people at ease because there were, that's the kind of race that a lot of people go into blindly.
Right.
So it just kind of cast the net of relaxation over everybody.
I'm sure it can be pretty intimidating for people that are new to running and racing and that kind of thing as well. So that probably helps calm them down quite a bit.
It helped calm me down, and I've done quite a bit of races. And it also made me feel more calm because I knew everybody else around me was more calm. They kicked the event off, and to no one's surprise, it was a hill that went straight up. When I say straight up, I mean it went straight up. This was on a 440-acre farm that was owned by the Mars. It was Milky Way Farms, and it was owned by the Mars family.
Oh, wow.
The candy bar people.
What city was this in? I forgot. Did you say earlier?
Pulaski, Tennessee.
Pulaski, Tennessee.
Which is somewhere Nashville-ish, something like that. I'm not real geographically savvy.
I got you.
And I could be getting, it might have been Mars Farms, and it was at Milky Way. No, it was Milky Way Farms. That's what it was. So we went straight up this huge hill, and we came to the Mud Mile 2.0, and that was probably the most difficult of all the obstacles right there at the beginning because it was basically about 8 feet. It was like 10 ridges up and down. And you had to, when you got in the water, you were in about waist-high water. I guess probably closer to chest-high water. And then you had to go over a muddy ridge that was about 8 feet high. A ridge that you couldn't get over by yourself. You had to have someone lift you up or pull you over.
Oh, wow.
And there was 10 of those.
Okay.
And it was intimidating. It was difficult. What caught me about this was the fact that I was watching humans be so humane. Because there was no time, because there was no winners, because there was nothing that could be taken from anyone else, I was sort of able to sit back and watch people how they worked together, how people flocked towards the weaker individual.
Uh-huh.
And were willing to help the smaller person or the person more in need. I was also able to see, how much everyone was needed. The heavier, stronger guys were needed to push people up, and the littler people were needed to get over first so they could help pull people up. And it was just it was a really good experience from the aspect of human behavior.
Right. Now, do they have the guys that like completely ignore all that and just like run as fast as they can? Not like skipping the obstacles. I mean, like a competitive person that starts out front of everybody and does all the obstacles, but like wants to be the first person to finish the race. Because that was completely lacking. Right. That sounds interesting.
The people that you would see and kind of judge by their build, like that guy he should be a first place kind of guy. He should be blowing through this and showing everybody what a badass mud climber guy he is.
Right.
That didn't exist.
Wow. Do they give awards?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any top finisher awards.
This sounds really intriguing. My frame of reference is like I did one warrior dash, and that was 7 years ago. And it was not anything like that. I mean, it was really pretty simple. So I'm in my head when someone comes up to me and says Tough Mudder, I immediately think it's just like a warrior dash. But this sounds like pretty incredible.
There is no competitive aspect to this at all. So it's really like a very badass. If you were to go out on a bonding trip with with your coworkers. And you go out and do trust falls and
right,
that sort of thing. It was like really intense trust falls going on.
Yeah, wow.
And there was one girl in particular that caught my eye, and she was a heavier girl. She was a young girl, and she walked. I'll get emotional sitting here talking about it. She was coming up to the ridge. And she just had her arms folded across her and she had the look that she was in over her head. And I know that feeling because I've been there.
Yeah.
Got ready to, push her over the mound, and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm really heavy." And it broke my heart the way that she said it and the way that her body language was. She was collapsing in on herself. And, I stopped and I pointed my finger at her and I said, "We're not talking like that. Not today. Not here. Put your foot up here. I'm fixing to chunk your ass up over that hill." And for that moment, I swear to God, I could have push pressed 400 pounds.
Right.
I thought she is going over this mound, and she's going to go over it as smoothly as anyone else here. And that was kind of what you take from that whole experience.
That's awesome.
And you just watch how people come to assist in that situation. And it was really, it just really gave me the feel goods about the world that we live in.
That's awesome. So then what happened?
So then we continued to run, and there's 23 or 26 obstacles, so you never run more than 3/4 of a mile. Probably the longest that we would have run would have been 3/4 of a mile without stopping. So if you want to run, if you have the good feeling and you want to take off running, you can separate from your group, and that's all well and good. Everybody can go at their same pace, because when you get to the next obstacle, there's going to be a certain amount of congestion that's going to allow you to wait for your teammates. Right. So the pace sort of dictates itself. Even if it took us, I think, almost 5 hours or 5.5 hours to get through that.
And that was covering how many miles? So it was like 10 miles?
About 10.5 miles.
Okay.
And 23 obstacles. But if you blew through that as fast as you could, you may knock an hour off of that time, something like that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the experience.
Yeah, it would suck. It would suck because you get to know you're keeping up kind of with the same people, so you get to know the people that you're running with and the people that you're getting up close and personal, to say the least.
Right.
You're getting hands in places where maybe you didn't know you had places.
Right.
So you're getting some laughs, and you're getting some blood, sweat, and tears all all in there together with some new strangers, and that's what makes it fun. We all had our Lift Heavy Run Long shirts on, and people there are really attracted to that. We had a great deal of comments about the Lift Heavy Run Long.
All right.
Whereas I've been at races before where I felt like I received some snide comments about that.
Yeah.
But that was the place for Lift Heavy Run Long. It was great.
Nice. I like that. There's somebody that's going to listen to this and it's going to be like, I want to go do one of those Tough Mudders. I'm one of them. That's very inspiring.
We need to get a huge group and do it. I mean, you can't have a group too big. You can't have a group too small. You need somebody else to be there with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger the group, the better it would be. And you can be so fit and have a great time running with people who are not near as fit.
Right.
You know, you could have had you could almost do it with people that are walking the entire thing, you know, while you're running the entire thing and still be right up there in the mix together.
Yeah, that's really
It wouldn't
cool.
cost you a great deal of inconvenience to run back and see how they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So it was cool, and I think that it's worth the experience of signing up for something like that. And I think that's the kind of race that if you're really afraid and wanting to get into fitness, most any fitness level can do that. That was the first race that I did 3 years ago, and it almost killed me, but it was still pretty awesome.
I feel like we're seeing a lot of that in our circle of Lift Heavy Run Long universe of not just Tough Mudders, but we've watched and we've seen people that don't believe that they can do anything or certain things, and then they go and actually do them. For like the ultra marathon is a good example. Like we've watched people before where they're, oh my God, there's no way I could do something like that, and then they go do it, right? And so and so we're seeing more and more of those people pop up. The more races that we, you know, sign up for, and the more races we do, we're seeing more and more people get included in that circle, and just the community is just growing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's all really inspiring.
It is really inspiring. And I've wondered whether we are just the benefactors of seeing what just goes on and has always gone on,
Right.
or if we're helping to encourage that
Right.
to go on. And I guess it doesn't really make any difference. Either way, it gives me so much excitement.
Right.
You know, to get these emails that say I was at this place and now I'm at this place and I've decided to sign up for this, or I just completed that. It's just, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like the emotion that I get from that. I love seeing people signing up and taking a crack at these things.
Yeah, for sure. And I love in our private Facebook group, one morning I'll wake up and look at it, and there's a picture of somebody all the way across the United States that I don't even know. It's like, I just finished my first half marathon, or I just deadlifted 400 pounds or something like that. And it's really cool.
It's a great thing to be a part of. I certainly never saw myself being in this position, but I'm glad to be on this side of it.
For sure.
Well, I can tell you something that will, if you want to get results.
What's that?
And have something to be proud to post, you can sign up for our deadlift program.
Deadlift.
liftheavyrunlong.com/deadlift
Mm-hmm.
is the program that you put together, and it's fantastic, and people are loving it.
Yep,
and they're talking all about it.
It's getting to the point now where we've got several people that are more than halfway through the program, and now they're starting to send messages and say, I just pulled my last 1 rep max for 3 for triples and that kind of thing, or I just did my previous 1 rep max for 5 reps, that kind of thing. So it's nice to hear that progress.
That has to get you excited.
Oh, yeah, it really makes me happy. You can go to the website and get the first 2 weeks of that program for free, just so you can see what that is all about and what's included with it and all that kind of stuff, and how it all works. So I definitely suggest you do that. And what else?
We got Twitter and Instagram at LiftRunLong.
That's
but
right.
You need to go there and follow me and give me a shout out at LiftRunLong, because that's something that I do to avoid doing the things that I'm supposed to do. So I need as much distraction as possible. So give me a holler. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, and always give me a theme song for Von Rawls' intro music.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And review us on iTunes and go to Reddit to r/LiftHeavyRunLong and be active there. And always, the music is from Ted Horrell and the Monday Night Card. So if you get the chance, go to iTunes and enter in Ted Horrell or Monday Night Card or Ted Horrell and the Monday Night Card. Check them out. We'll talk soon.
Boom. Bye.
Shut tight your eyes. Waking up is hard. It's hard. It's hard. You're not sure where you got that idea. If you're not giving it up, it's such a wonderful point of view, and it keeps you out of